Today I'm going to show you the drop-off inline lead rig. This was developed by Yateley anglers Steve Fantuzzi and Ben Hamilton, and it was primarily designed for stalking big rig-shy fish in the margins. The idea behind the rig was that they wanted a large, bulky inline lead that would prick the fish and be difficult for the fish to get rid of. But they also wanted to be able to get rid of the lead on the take, so that they weren't playing the fish with a great big inline lead above its head, which was likely to get snagged up in weed and so on. So what they wanted to do was get the lead to come off on the take, and as is often the case with any rig, when the lead comes off, is that the fish comes up to the surface and then you can play them above any weed or snags. So how it works is the swivel plugs into the front of the lead, the leader goes round the outside of the lead and is attached to the plastic insert with a tail rubber. So when the fish picks up the bait, pricks itself, realises there's something wrong and shakes its head, as they always do generally, violently shakes its head and exits the scene like a scalded cat, what happens is the lead will drop off and you're just left with basically straight through to the hook, no lead on the line, so the fish comes up in the water, makes it a lot easier to play. But there was always a bit of a compromise with this setup, in that if you used a conventional swivel, you generally had to insert the swivel and a portion of the lead core up inside the lead. So you'd either have to drill out the hole to make it larger, or it'd be a very tight fit, and sometimes the lead wouldn't come off in the first place. So one of our guys, Joe Forrester, looked at this and came up with a simple but really good idea, as generally the good ideas are, of adding 2 rings to a conventional swivel. So we've all seen the ring swivels or unilink swivels where there's one ring on the end of the swivel. He came up with the idea of adding an extra ring. And how it works is you tie the hook link to one of the rings, the leader or the main line to the other ring, and then that leaves the main body of the swivel free to insert inside the lead. Now, I like it so that the lead can come off very easily, so I just ream out the inside of the plastic insert with a pair of scissors, or the other way you can do it is to just get a pair of pliers and flatten the ring on the swivel, the top ring on the swivel, so it's more oval shaped, and then it's less of an interference fit inside the plastic insert. So the swivel just goes up inside the lead, and then the lead core, as I'm using here, wraps around the top of the lead, or the side of the lead, and then I've got a tail rubber here that is attached to the plastic insert. Now I've cut the insert down, so again it'll come off fairly easily when the swivel drops out. It's not a rig that you generally cast long distances with, because you've got the risk of the lead coming off of the cast. But for stalking fish in the margins, rig-shy fish, when you've got some fish feeding in the margin, you can see them, wait for them to move off, lower a rig down, bit of bait. It's such a really exciting way of fishing. You can identify certain fish. If you're after a particular target fish, you can identify them, see them feeding, get a rig down there and watch them as they pick up the freebies before they get to your hook bait. To me, it's probably the most exciting form of carp fishing. I think it beats catching them off the top, personally. You can see the whole episode, get them feeding, watch it take your hook bait, watch it shake its head and bolt, something you don't see when it happens out in the lake, and then play them in safely above the weed once the lead's dropped off. It's a brilliant way of fishing. So if you get an opportunity to try it this spring, give it a go, it's brilliant.